Mike.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 3130. 3131 is what today. The number's so nice they named it twice. 3131.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. And here we are at Café Anyway, somewhere in podCastro Valley. The last place on earth, the last place on earth, the last place How did we miss up that song? I don't know. I'm going to sing the rest of it, though. It's not long. It ended. podCastro Valley, that's where we are. The last place on earth in the land of Maritopica.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I don't drink much anymore. Maybe once a month these days.
Mike's
It's
Daily
just a decision.
Podcast.
When you are in your 50s and you've seen a lot of people go in your life because of alcohol and other substances, I don't need that. And by substances, I'm also including all the fast food, the fat food, the fattening food, the bad food. Eating a steak every day, which you can't do unless you're a billionaire. Eating lots of red meat. Eating lots of fatty things like French fries, etc. You got to stay away from that, and especially at my age. So alcohol, when you drink alcohol, you want to eat that bad stuff. Eat the chips, eat the hot dogs, eat the fries, etc. I had a grandfather, and had is the operative word. He was into sweets, into cakes, into drinking like the hard booze, spirits as it were. And man, he got diabetes, did not last to a ripe old age. So I'm trying to take a cue from that and understand that that's not the thing to do. But the buzz is gone. There's the rise of now non-alcoholic drinks. I sound like I'm drunk reading this. Non-alcoholic drinks, a seismic shift in what people are drinking. The global non-alcoholic beverage market is booming.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Yes, I said non-alcoholic beverages. It's to over $2 trillion. It will be at $2 trillion by the year 2032. And hopefully you and I will make it to 2032. A staggering 65%, way over half of Gen Z, plans to drink less alcohol. Now, I recently heard a conflicting statistic, heard it yesterday actually on Bloomberg from a specialist that said, that, yes, he's an alcohol specialist and watches the alcohol trends, etc. He said actually Gen Z, the late great Basil the Boxer, I don't know if he knew any Gen Zers. I guess we knew some youngins, but there he is, late great Basil the Boxer. Oh, and the podcast picture is of a place he and I went to actually years ago, Encinal Beach. It's over there in Alameda, and see that at mikesdailypodcast.com with all the other wonderful podcast pictures and past podcasts. And for some reason, Spotify is not letting me post the links like it used to do.
Mike Matthews is going to come in with more encouragement for you.
Here's my encouragement. Try and figure out what the heck's going on with Spotify. What's that all about? I don't know. So I'm working around it. You can hear this podcast on Amazon Music, TuneIn, the My Tuner radio app. Ooh, I need to put that link on my podcast as well.
You can use your debit if it's easier. Don't worry, I will cross my eyes so I can't see your secret code.
Yeah, be careful with the debit, because if somebody gets your debit code and PIN, you're done for. It's hard to get that money back. But thank you, Turget Lady. Oh, and Dr. Evil. Singing an annoying song. That's awesome. Yeah, the MyTuner radio app blows them all out of the water. I don't get paid anything by MyTuner radio app, but I am heard on there. And it's just fantastic. They run circles around Spotify, TuneIn, and the iHeart radio app. The three I just mentioned there before MyTuner radio app play commercials, but when you pick the radio station you want to listen to, maybe you don't know if you want to listen to it. You turn it on, you go, oh, this is awful, and you want to change it to a different radio. Well, no, you got to sit through a 30-second, sometimes two 30-second commercials, sometimes two 60-second commercials. You're wasting time listening to these commercials. Whereas the MyTuner radio app just basically does a visual commercial of some sort. So that you can just see, and you can put it in the background and get right to your radio stations, or several radio stations to see. Because, when we had radios...
Oh, you almost had it. You're going to be quicker than that.
All those old-time radios that we had, you had to be quicker than that. If you didn't like a show, you just punched the button, you were on to another show. It's a little more difficult with apps for some reason. Isn't it weird? We've regressed. We've gone much to the backwards is what we have done. So, and... that is my completely wonderful review.
Mike's absolutely useless review
about that nonsense. So I've noticed the most conducive app has been that MyTuner radio app. So I should put a link there at mikesdailypodcast.com if you want to go check that out. But back to drinking. So Gen Zers, they're drinking less alcohol. However, as Bloomberg told me, the Business News Radio Network said that actually that's not entirely true. Gen Zers like to drink when they are at a club with friends, at some kind of public place, club, bar, wherever, some kind of outdoor activity. They're cool with drinking. More of them are drinking there, less so at home, which is an interesting statistic. Are they drinking the non-alcoholic? In the way I said the word statistic, I might be drunk, it seems. But almost 40...
I need some turntables, Mike, if you're going to say it like
that. Right? Baby statistic. 39, almost 40%, aiming for a completely dry lifestyle. They want to be completely dry. What am I, a Gen Zer? No, add a couple letters. It's progress... Go backwards with the letters. I might be a Gen X, maybe a Gen B at this point. Wait, are we going to go back around the alphabet? Why all this obsession with alphabets and generations? I don't know. We can thank Billy Idol with Generation X. Dancing with myself. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Sober bars that exclusively serve non-alcoholic beverages are gaining popularity.
What's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
Thinking about leaving alcohol. That's what the Gen Zers are doing. They're embracing the non-alcoholic drinks. It's big, especially among younger crowds, these sober bars. TikTok and Instagram are filled with influencers and everyday users sharing creative mocktail recipes. And I need to check that out because my mocktail of choice is lemonade. I grab some lemons. I use a martini shaker. Add a little bit of agave syrup because I'm not big on sugar.
Cash cows.
See, this is the thing.
How do you do that?
Cows.
I just said the word cash cow.
We need to leave the cows alone. It's the burgers and steaks that are not good for it. A primary driver is the overarching focus on health and wellness. So that's the cash cow now, is health and wellness. Has it always been? Well, it seems like it increases year after year. Except some years we go into debauchery like we did during COVID. It was like, I can't get out of the house. I'm upset. I'm going to drink. And they had the people buying alcohol and drinking at home. But that seems to have passed. With a desire for better sleep, improved mental clarity, and overall well-being, sorry to the alcohol makers, many are choosing to skip the alcohol. And another thing that seems to be changing is people's taste in sports, particularly embracing the WNBA. It is booming and adding 3 more teams. There's a new era of growth happening with women's NBA. Last year was a record-setting viewership, attendance, merchandise sales. All of that was big. 5 new franchises were announced, including Cleveland, Detroit, Philadelphia.
That's good stuff.
Wow. Toronto.
I don't like that sound effect.
That's too bad.
That's the one I don't like.
Wow.
That's better.
Portland. Portland is another one. There's going to be 18 new franchises by the end of the decade. The average franchise valuation is now $269 million to fund a franchise. And it's going up above that, a whopping 180% increase in a single year. That's how much money is going into these franchises. Gone up 180% since last year. The Golden State Valkyries, valued at $500 million. That is double the average Golden State
I want to weaponize
Valkyries.
my pronouns. What are pronouns?
Pronouns. They take the place of a noun. But the Golden State Valkyries sold 10,000 season tickets. They have sold out their first 9 home games at the Chase Center. So, boom! Ing to the moon. Look who's here. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love pronouns. Ooh! Do you like verbs? Yes. Do you like adjectives? Yes. Do you like onomatopoeias? No. Boom! I think that's what an onomatopoeia is. I guess. You know what? I guess we can say hi to these guys too.
Hello, Dave Mike. This is Valentino.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we love all this stuff you're
There's a
telling.
Spanish holiday tradition called El Gordo, the fat one.
I like the way she said El Gordo.
Yeah, Gordo. Do you know that? We knew a guy named Gordy when I was in high school. And he was a pretty thin guy back then. I saw him at the 20-year high school reunion. He definitely fitted the name Gordo. But hey, who am I to say? Who am I to speak on such things? I'm working on it. So there's this thing called tokenized real estate. Is that real estate that's got a bunch of hobbits in it? Like the little houses that they have in New Zealand that you can go visit? Token, not J.R.R. Tolkien. That's not how you say his name? Tolkien?
That's enough. Put down the mic.
I don't know. Wow, I didn't realize he was such a fan of hobbits and such. Well, tokenized real estate is ushering in a digital transformation for the property investment industry. By leveraging blockchain technology, tokenization converts physical or financial real estate assets into digital tokens. Ooh, that worries me. That can be bought, sold, and owned fractionally on secure digital platforms until they're hacked. And you always hear about digital currency being hacked by like foreign nefarious peoples in the dark, and their syndicates, their minions, crime peoples. The innovation allows investors to purchase small portions of properties, making real estate investment more accessible and flexible than ever before. One of the most significant benefits of tokenized real estate is fractional ownership. What is that? Investors no longer need to commit large sums of money to buy a single property. Instead, they can diversify across multiple assets and markets. They can diversify. Sounds weird.
I can't make this up.
Sounds like you own a little bit of something, but you don't really own it. Sounds almost like a timeshare, doesn't it? The ability to trade these digital tokens on online marketplaces also brings much needed liquidity to an industry traditionally known for its illiquidity. Blockchain-based platforms streamline operations by reducing administrative costs, automating compliance, minimizing the need for intermediaries, all of which contribute to greater efficiency and transparency.
When I grow up, I want to be obsessed with emotional safety and do workplace sensitivity training all day long.
I want to thank whoever sent this to me. I'm a little bit skeptical about all of this. With all those people taken out of the picture, you wonder who's watching everything then. What happens if someone takes your information, like going back to that debit card, takes all the money out of that account because you've got it in a debit card or got it in this digital? Well, the blockchain protects it, Mike. Well, A market potential for tokenized real estate is substantial. Analysts project that the value of tokenized real estate could surge from less than 0.3 trillion last year to, in about 10 years, go all the way up to 4 trillion, driven by a compound annual growth rate of 27%. I think I got this information from some kind of investment people, obviously.
I'm calling about the tennis lessons for my grandson, age 13.
I would like to help you with that, with the tennis lessons. I'm not the best tennis teacher, though. And I'm not really big and good on my knowledge with cryptocurrency. And I think, actually, the financial service that sent me this, they're not that big into cryptocurrency either. But they do conclude this as the ecosystem evolves, more tokenized marketplaces and exchanges are emerging, offering real-time visibility into asset performance. Okay, in other words, it seems it's growing. I don't know. I'm skeptical. Did I say that already? I'm Mike. And I'm sometimes a little bit cautious. Heck, I'm very, very, very cautious when it comes to money. As I have had a career in radio where you don't get paid a lot, and anything in this industry or any industry where you're creative, it is very scary, and you gotta watch it.
It was kind of scary.
Very scary. So with these kind of fly-by-night ideas, I'm not. Oh, that's perfect then for me to put this little piece that was in South Park, I think, last year.
Now, of course, we only take Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency because we've all decided centralized banking is rigged, so we trust more in fly-by-night Ponzi schemes.
Hilarious. What do you think about all that? Here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame and take a quick moment to say how much we're going to miss Lonnie Anderson. It is so weird that I went to the library 3 weeks ago. In fact, I just got my email from the library reminding me that I got to renew the DVD. You know, you can check out DVDs. It's the greatest thing in the world. And I checked it. I got to check something out. I had just returned the awesome show from the BBC called Ghosts, which is a hilarious comedy about these ghosts haunting a house, and this young couple's trying to make this house look better.
What are you, nuts?
Renovate the house, make it livable at least, because it's got all kinds of problems. They're nuts because the floors are caving in and all that, and the roof's caving in. And this one gal who has a near-death experience, all of a sudden she can see ghosts, a la The Sixth Sense. And so many funny characters. So these ghosts. They vary in their ages. Like one of them's a caveman, Neanderthal man. The other, the youngest one died in the 90s or the early O's, and he was a politician. And he died under very strange circumstances. So all this hilarity. So I wanted to get another DVD, and I just happened to walk past the W section. There was WKRP, and I have never watched it in its entirety. And I picked up season 1, and there's Lonnie Anderson. And then also on the DVD is some of Lonnie's commentary. And that was fascinating too, about they were a family.
Why do your toenails look like that?
They ask questions like that to each other. All the cast members working on that show, because they didn't know how long it was going to last. They were having so much fun. They thought, oh, this is going to get canceled. But it kept going, and it got popular. I think it lasted 5 years until the typical story. The network CBS, was moving it around too much to different time slots, and it wasn't consistent enough, so people stopped watching it as much. Even though they rebooted it later, because it originally came out in 1978 and lasted to the early 80s. And WKRP, don't forget, was an AM station, which that is crazy nowadays. There's the possibility of AM radio completely disappearing because a lot of car manufacturers have stopped putting AM radio in their cars. I'm looking at you, Elon, that naughty boy. No, got to have the AM radio for various reasons. For one thing, if all the internet stuff goes out, you won't be able to access the internet and find out what's going on, you're going to have to go to some radio station, and AM radio travels much further than FM. So that's why get rid of that. That's the perfect. And radio all started with AM radio. So
we owe you because we learned from you. We learned from you by example how to do a show with intention, how to work with clarity, how to treat people with respect.
I try.
You are infuriatingly good at your job.
Oh, so are you. So are you. I listen to one of the shows I produce. Oh, real quick. So AM radio is good. It's just some of the stuff that broadcasts on it is not the best. And I contribute to that sometimes myself. I produce different hosts with different political opinions. And one guy, oh my gosh, very right-leaning, just railed on Stephen Colbert for about 10 minutes. And I thought to myself, oh, you don't get it, do you? You don't know what sort of brain Stephen Colbert has and how he had the Colbert Report. Back when he was doing the Colbert Report, I bet you loved him because he did a feign right-wing talk show host. But now, it's good to see him go because of all the things he says about Trump. So anyway, Café Anyway. I guess if you don't exactly agree with his political opinions.
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander.
There's no evidence of that. I've not heard of it before, but
the thing we were talking about, which was AM radio, and WKRP was an AM radio station, and it was later revived in the 90s. Some of the characters from the original were in there. I don't think Lonnie was, but she did show up to a cameo. So it was weird that all of a sudden,
yes, woo, love it.
WKRP, and I'm talking with my friend Russ, who's been in radio for eons, longer than I have, which is completely impressive. Worked with Greg Ken back in the day when Our Love's in Jeopardy and all that stuff. And the breakup song, great song, and all his other stuff. He did a morning show in the Bay Area on an FM station, but he was on radio, and this guy Russ worked with him and knew him pretty well. And Russ and I were talking about WKRP and some of the funny shows. And Lonnie Anderson, and we were like, hey, he asked me, is she still alive? And I said, oh, yeah. In fact, she does some of the commentary on this stuff. And he goes, oh, wow, that's cool. Is she still? Well, we spoke too soon. I don't think I should talk about celebrities anymore. I don't want them to disappear. We lost so many in the past couple of weeks. So I guess I'll just end it here at the mainframe with A-Frame, telling you more about Mike's Daily Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!